والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. وقل رب زدني علما. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولا يحسبن الذين يبخلون بما آتاهم الله من فضله هو خير لهم بل هو شر لهم سيطوقون ما بخلوا به يوم القيامة ولله ميراث السماوات والأرض والله بما تعملون خبير. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning what we call the terrible afa, or the terrible consequences, and the blameworthiness of withholding, and not actually recognizing and acknowledging the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number one, the favor of Iman, and much of that has been alluded to previously. Iman and Islam and all the various favors outwardly and inwardly that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the wealth and the physical property that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants to His servants, and how, and as much as He wills to do so. وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ, and let not those who withhold and are miserly and stingingly and greedily hold to their wealth and do not spend from that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given from His fadl, from His bounty. And man says, my wealth, my wealth. Actually, it's not your wealth, just like we talked about our bodies, our universe. It's not ours, it belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fi al-ard. So whatever we have, ma bikum min ni'matin fa min Allah. So whatever ni'mah we have is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So He has given us, so it's all His, and He is ordering us to give a small portion, in terms of the farida or the wajib, zakat, and also whatever is, excess of our wealth in various forms of charity. So those who do not recognize the fact that all of these favors and all of these blessings are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and hold them greedily and withheld them and are miserly with them, so let them not think that that's good for them. We see an increase, we're gathering, for contingencies to come. No, this is not good for you, it's very bad for you. Don't let them think it's good for them. Moreover, it's very bad for them. سَيُطَوَّقُونَ مَا بَخِلُوا بِهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Moreover, it will be tied around their neck like a collar. All of that, wealth that they had been miserly with and they didn't spend in the path of Allah. And of course, since this is a very severe warning, and actually in the hadith there's more elucidation to this, and Nabi also mentions that wealth which zakat was not paid, specifically the spending which is wajib, which is compulsory, which is zakat, of course, and that zakat which is not paid is going to be transformed on the day of Qiyamah as a huge serpent, a snake, which will go around the neck and will go on biting that individual until the hisab takes place. And that serpent will say, I'm your wealth that you hoarded, I'm your wealth that you greedily, withheld. So obviously this is not good for anyone. This is a very terrible consequence. So let not them think that this is good, it's very bad for them, and this will be the ultimate result. So obviously this is referring to that expenditure which is wajib, compulsory, and of course the compulsory amount which is to be spent in charity is zakat. So above and beyond zakat doesn't fall under this severe warning. However, of course, we have also riwayats of Rasul alayhi salatu, hadith, sayings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, particularly in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, which say, "Ala inna fil mali حَقٌّ سِوَى الزَّكَاةِ or كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام, that in the wealth there are rights in your wealth due to others, of course, other than zakat. So, and also, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has told us in many other hadith that, for example, the person who spends the evening with a full stomach while his neighbor is, spending the night in hunger and pain, is not from among us. So, when we see that we have been given excess of wealth and resources, and there are others of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's bondsmen who are human beings, of our relatives, because we're all the sons and daughters of Adam, isn't it? Whether we're Muslims or otherwise. So when we see others who are less fortunate in that respect, and we have plenty and others have nothing or very little and not sufficient, so obviously good character would dictate that they are to be spent upon. So charity, as we mentioned earlier, as Sahaba asked Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what should we spend in charity? So the reply from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قُلِ الْعَفْوَ, say the excess. What is necessary to live, moderately, within our means, according to their circumstances. Yes, we spend on ourselves first, and then the excess we spend in charity. However, the zakat is particularly important and very risky if we're not going to observe it properly. So therefore, it would behoove all of us to be very cognizant and understand and seek the knowledge from the ulama as to what mal and what property that we have is zakatable, if you will, which needs to be the zakat needs to be paid therein. What types of wealth and about the completion of the 1 year term, etc. So those ahkam, we need to know about that, because if we don't and we end up not paying it, then we have the very severe risk of facing this terrible consequence. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as a sort of recap and summary, again stresses وَلِلَّهِ مِيرَاثُ السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the inheritance of all that is in the heavens and the earth. It's His creation after all, and He will ultimately inherit each and everything. وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concerning all that you do is well informed. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to understand that our wealth, our property, all our belongings belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and give us the tawfiq to use them appropriately and spend on others in a pleasing fashion to Him. Ameen. Ameen. Wa akhir da'wana.